I've talked with a number of these judges, and I've had judges that have told me, they pled with me, and Jody was with me, because we've been to some of these different meetings at times when we're speaking with people, and there are judges that said, could you please tell your legislators to fix these laws? Because on the one hand, they have to make their decisions in accordance with the law. They can't become activist judges. If they start to do that, people will criticize them for that. But I have had judges that have pled with me. Get your legislators to change the laws, and that's why we come. That's why I come to these places, and I don't try to be. I try to stick with the point. You guys need to change the laws. It comes back to the legislators, and if the legislators fall down and don't do their job, we're all going to be screwed, and you're going to have bad decisions in family courts. The governor, whatever he wants to do, he just can't make law by himself. The legislature is so important, and if our legislators are not either rescinding bad laws or putting new laws into place that actually we need, the problem is going to fall right there. And that's why these elections are so important, which is why I'm not even in this district, as you know, but I know a lot of the people here. And I just want to tell them, I'm going to weigh in as much as I can, but I want to support them, because we have to have legislators that are good for the good of our society. And
we have to understand how severe the threat is.
We do.
This is a civilization ending. We are going to get subsumed.
Yeah.
See, Europe and Canada is facing a 8.1 birth rate in the Muslim population.
Yeah.
We're just going to get subsumed into that.
Yeah.
And here in the U.S., it's going to be a toss-up between Muslim and Hispanics with a 3.2 birth rate.
Yeah,
if you don't wake up, that's it. It's curtains.
And the bigger problem for me is, you come to these events, and this is a very conservative area. The people that were here were conservative, and they'll talk about financial discipline and cutting back on spending. They'll talk about gun rights and stuff like that. All of these issues, as important as they are secondary issues.
They are dwarfed by this issue.
They're dwarfed by this issue, but what is the one issue we don't talk about? Families and the breakdown of the family.
Because there is a covert, see what is going on is there is a covert war. I'm sorry, women are getting swept up into this, and I haven't quite figured out what the dynamics of that are, but there is a covert war against men, heterosexual men, traditional family, and religion. And there are special interest groups that by destroying the traditional family, they can now redefine family in newer ways, in other ways that were previously never accepted.
Yeah.
So what is also happening is, here a couple of points. The government is not only the judiciary, but the problem extends beyond that. For example, Health and Human Services Federal Department has a $350 billion budget. When they shred these families, what is happening? Those systems, those departments have to keep growing, and the budgets are keep going at taxpayer expense to keep providing more and more services for these disenfranchised adults and children.
Yeah.
So it's ever growing, ever bigger government. So instead of limited government, and they are using the no-fault divorce as the incentive to suck people into this mess.
Yeah.
See, marriage was a contract. Every other contract that we have, and Shelby Sharp in his thing points out all those other contracts where, if you break the contract, you pay the penalty.
Yeah.
But in marriage, 40 years ago, we decided we're going to just throw away the contract. No fault divorce. You can commit adultery, you can do everything, but if you're the first one to file, you win. The respondent loses.
Yeah.
So this whole craziness has started. And then we have the whole financial part where these people seeking profit are now involved in overseeing the breakdown and shredding of families.
Yeah, and how do they make profits? It's by breaking down more families.
Yeah.
But the other thing is that when you talked about some of the issues here, whether it's be the heterosexual male or the traditional family, I mean, as Jody knows, she is neither a heterosexual male, or anything like that, but she has been impacted because when you tear apart the family, what you're saying is the parent-child relationship is not important. Anybody who is advocating for shared parenting, if they are not also advocating at the same time for the repeal of something such as unilateral divorce, they are lying to themselves. They are completely inconsistent in their position because they're saying, the family doesn't matter. The sociological purpose of a family is what? It's to tie a father and a mother together to their children. It's to create that contract so that for these children, they have a father and a mother there, because we all know that the best thing for children is to have a healthy relationship with father and mother, but it's more than that. It's to have
an intact family.
It's an intact family with father and mother who love each other, who learn how to get along, who are both there 100% for the children. Not a situation where the mother gets 50% and the father gets 50%.
Two halves don't add up to one.
Right, absolutely. And on the other hand, if you have two wholes at the same time, I mean, it's more than just a 50-50 thing where, you have two halves. Together, you have more than one. You have two 100%ers. And you
That
build
adds
that.
up. 1 + 1 becomes 3, 4, 5,
Yeah,
6.
absolutely.
Not 1 + 1 = 2.
Right. And that's why, the people that I know in the shared parenting movement, and I empathize with them. And, Jody, the stuff that you've talked about as well, I mean, many times I'm like, this is just incredible, the injustices that take place. But in order for people in the shared parenting movement to be consistent, they have to also say we need to get rid of unilateral divorce. Other than that, they're being selective.
I would also say too
Actually-
to repeal VAWA and the Fatherhood Initiative.
So go ahead.
Both of them.
So
Repeal them both.
So go ahead. You're talking VAWA being the Violence Against Women Act
Right,
and
Violence
the
Against
Fatherhood
Women.
Initiative.
Right.
So
$1.6 billion, Rama, as per Wikipedia.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the VAWA.
Needs to just go. Yeah,
Yeah.
it needs to go.
Yeah, it needs to go.
Yeah.
And then you've got some mothers that are claiming they're abused when they're not abused, and that's ruining the people that are really in
now, Jody,
domestic
I've got to
abuse.
let you in on a secret. You're a woman. You're not supposed to be against VAWA.
But I am.
I know.
I am.
Because she's smart enough to recognize in the end
Yeah.
it hurts. It comes
I am.
back
I
and boomerangs
read-
and
Yeah.
what looks,
Yeah.
VAWA is only the super elite. It's a power grab and a money grab for the high echelons. All the other women below that are just foot soldiers.
Right.
And I've invented a new term, colonialization of the mind. See, we've gone
Yeah.
on with the colonialization of countries. Now, this is colonialization of the mind and super elite. It's a power grab and money grab for them. And the rest of them are just, you
Yeah.
got a parasite in your minds.
Yeah.
So the smart women, the millennial women and men need to figure out and say, I'm not going to, if we are going to be careful about what we eat in our bodies, we are so conscious about it physically.
Yeah.
Then what about like sinus rinse for our nose? We brush our teeth, but we don't clean our noses. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing for our brain. Stop allowing garbage and astroturfing nonsense into the propaganda into your brain. Protect your brain just
Yeah.
like you protect everything else.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your brain is being colonialized.
Yeah.
And you've got colonialitis.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's a tongue full.
And then another
Tongue
issue I
twister.
want to bring up too, besides we need to repeal VAWA and that Fatherhood Initiative, the economic downfall in this is like Vineet. He
This
loses
thing-
his job. I lose my job. I mean, I lost my job. I had to give it up or lose it, and I didn't
Yeah.
want to lose my job. I didn't want to get fired. People think that's wrong, that I shouldn't have
Yeah.
quit. But I'm too old.
It-
I didn't
well,
want to have that
yeah.
on me to be fired, and my place of employment was so good to me, I didn't want to do that. But wouldn't it make more sense that all that 100 to 120,000 I spent on litigation,
Right.
instead of going to a lawyer, guardian ad litem, and these experts, that it went to my kids who would have been spending it at the mall or me at the grocery store or the gas
for their
stations,
college.
Their college.
But, Vinny, it's a personal question. You have to answer this, but you were actually employing people at one time. How much was your business actually generating in revenues each year?
6 zeros. 7 figures. My revenues were in 7 figures.
So
it
it
was
was-
IT business, so each of my employees with benefits was being paid, salaries plus benefits, minimum 100,000 each.
So what you're actually saying then is this: because of the unilateral divorce system, not only did you get affected, but maybe 8 to 10 other people did, because you're talking about people that you employed.
At that point, I had 6 employees.
Okay.
Today, I would have had 30, 40, 50 employees.
So in addition,
So all that's gone, poof.
Yeah, yeah. And instead of being a revenue builder and a generator of jobs, because of this system, and people don't put the two and two together, but because of what you've suffered, now you're on the other end of it, you're on a receiving end versus actually being a provider of employment to not only you, and then when you have these people that you're providing employment for, how many children do they have in their families that they're providing for?
yeah, two
I
at
mean,
least
so
two.
so you could say right there I mean, we'll say that during the course of this time, that we'll say that you had 30 people that were working for you right now. So 30 people with a wife, that's, 60 people right there. If they have 2 children each, that's 120 people. Because of this corrupt system, 120 people have been affected directly. Now, maybe they, or indirectly, whatever, because they wouldn't, maybe didn't know you right away or whatever, and maybe they found something else. But this is the devastation that the poor legislation and the family courts can cause. We spoke with a judge in there who thinks that the reorganization of families, as she puts it, is a wonderful thing. And you're saying it's the shredding of families, but it's not really the shredding of families, it's the shredding of businesses, the shredding of societies, the shredding of extended families.